Oh, here we go. Oh, we're live. This is Kev, and this is Black Men Being Brutally Honest. And I know this is probably confusing when you look at tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is evil. Um, just talk about how evil, and I'm not so much talking about on a spiritual level, because when you hear evil, you think of good and evil, and you think of some people think of God the devil. Well, I want to take this to more of a human level, just kind of like why we do evil things to each other. And, you know, when is evil a necessity? There's every time some of these conversations start, there's always a chance for it to go in interesting directions. And this is what I would like to do tonight. When do we embrace evil? And I have to admit that to a degree on social media, that we as a people, we do kind of embrace evil. Being evil to each other, because most of all, when you're on social media, you're far away from another person. I mean, on the on the few occasions where you might actually be in the same city, you're mostly talking to a person that's states away, that otherwise, besides hiding behind a smartphone or a keyboard, has no real impact in your life at all. So you might start saying, might think that it's a little bit more okay to go a little far with that person, as opposed to just kind of pulling back and acting like a sensible human being. Yeah, some of us are guilty of it. I know I am. I've been guilty of it in the past, of just messing with people, but it's fun stuff. It's sometimes, to me, it's a little fun to harp on the stupidity of people, and sometimes people say that's kind of evil of me. And I'm just saying, like, they have to serve some purpose besides they have to serve some purpose besides being there and just taking up a spot and spreading their stupidity. I mean, shoot, but that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's not. It's not necessarily a fun thing to do. It can be, but you know, now we're not. Now, when you do talk about some forms of evil, you talk about pure evil as well, and that's the bad stuff that we, want to stay away from. But it's not that. It's it's not as simple as people think. There are certain things that we have to get by mentally in order to either become these evils or stop these evils altogether. Now, when you initially start to who's evil, Reigning Woman says. I mean, we're speaking generally tonight. We're just we're just taking a topic, and it is often it is not actually put this way, but it's more of a topic as to just why do we get to the bottom of why sometimes people are so evil toward each other, and sometimes it needs to be put that way. I'm not talking about anyone in particular. When I make these broadcasts, it's not to talk about anyone in particular. I'm just talking about, generally in our society, in our community, since, we have a audience of people, and we do have influencers that, often point out things that are wrong instead of things that are right. Then, let's discuss it. Let's see if we can get to a better spot. Let's discuss some of these evils. We've been guilty of it at one point or another. Doing not is doing something evil doesn't necessarily mean you did something to break the law, or you did something to, you did something to hurt someone forever. You know, shout out to Raining Woman. It just means that, it could be something like petty. Is things that is just not a good idea to undergo. So let's explore this. Let's give it a little time. I'll just, sit over here and sip on my beer. See who comes in, joins me for the broadcast tonight. How's everyone doing? And once again, I've said it in several broadcasts before. I hope everyone is um, taking the necessary precautions to protect themselves from the coronavirus, COVID-19 to be exact. People are dying out there, and some states have decided to reopen for business. It's a money thing. Some people are tired of not making money. It's not that they're broke; they're just greedy, and they just want to continue to their feed off the people that keep them afloat. The essential workers, so to speak. So they're tired of not making money, so they'd rather put people in danger. Just I would implore anyone out there to just continue to practice social distancing. And there are a lot of businesses that are on the side of, let's just stay away from each other just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer, so we can keep ourselves safe. Stupid to get out there now, you know, especially in a state like Georgia, where we actually have it on the ropes. But now that he wants to end the social distancing, there are new cases popping up. So take care of yourselves. I mean, this virus, this whole thing that's happened to our society all over the world in general has um really started to define some people. Some people are going to be worse off. Some people are coming out better. I mean, it's up to you which one of those people you are. So, so beside the topic being about evil and the evils that we do, it's pretty much an open discussion. So anybody feels like, the link is in the chat. Come on up. Yeah, and this broadcast is brought to you tonight by Kev, Black Men Being Brutally Honest. I don't know, just what's going on out there. I just don't consider myself being in all these loops. I mean, the loops that are important to me is I don't know, you guys. You guys are what's matter. Oh, what matters. So, what do we all come to YouTube for? Did I come to YouTube to be a problem solver, to share my knowledge, to give my perspective? I think I've come here to do all of that. But to be evil, to be a negative Nelly, no. But why? What is it that attracts us to evil things? What does it attract? What is it that attracts us to things that are bad? Things that would normally not be. It wouldn't pose to be a good idea to be around. Shout out to Mella. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, I mean, yeah, just I just want to get on here, and I think the idea would be for everyone to get along and for things to be rosy and to have productive, mature discussions. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just whatever works and whatever doesn't work. You know, it says whatever works and whatever doesn't work. So, what would make anyone do something evil to somebody? Like, what could possibly bring a person to that point. I do, carry on day to day. And I mean, it's not something that I think about a lot, but, I do think about some complex things. And what would bring me to the point where I would do something just to spite someone, just to make their lives hell? What could possibly bring me to that point? Because it's like I can only speak for me. I can't speak for everyone else because for some people it's pretty easy being an evil person. You know, would I have to be a fully dysfunctional loser to be an evil person, or a structured winner to be an evil person? I don't think it's fair to try to compartmentalize an evil person in certain archetypes. You know, never judge a book by its cover. Mm. So anyway, it's like wow. Hmm. So what happened this past week? Uh, yeah, I did a couple broadcasts. They were very, very different broadcasts. Um, One was talking about the game and was going on with the game. Yeah, and just all the bad decisions. And another one was about a young man who got killed trying to help out a friend of his. Um, paying rent, which it explored two different kinds of evil. One evil was just petty, trying to ruin someone, and the game allowed it to happen. I mean, you can't blame you can't so much blame her for who she is, because she put it on display. She let everyone know.
Peace and
And
blessings.
what's going on,
Hey,
Mella? How are you?
terrific.
Yeah,
As are
yeah,
you.
alright. Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah, yeah. I'm okay. I am okay. I had an interesting week last week, but I'm much better this week. Uh, yeah, I mean, I came through and I'm still here. So,
yes.
what about yourself?
I am hearing more sirens lately in the area, and that's indicative of people going through something. And what I'm really, really encouraged about is that you've overcome whatever you had to endure. I don't know the details. You just said that you overcame something, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, yeah. It was really some lucky shit. I'm not gonna sit up here and kiss the ground and be like, "Oh Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you," even though I should be thanking the Lord for something. But it was just that wow. It just everything happened so quickly. It went from a really bad week to a really good week. It was just one of those weeks. But I'd rather have one of those weeks like that. It goes from a really bad week to a really good week. Than a really
Hmm.
good week that goes to like a really bad week. So I can say that.
I was wondering, Kev, are you the type of man that believes in spiritual rewards?
Spiritual rewards. I believe that doing the right thing has its own reward. I believe that. I don't believe that you should be doing something because you feel like there's some pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I
Hmm.
think you should I think you should do it. I don't even connect it to I don't even connect it to the concept of karma, because I don't really too much ride with karma either. Because if karma was a real thing, there would be a lot more people burning, living in hell on earth right now. And just it wouldn't. If karma was a real thing, I don't think that there would be kids dying in drive-bys. I'll put it like that. Yeah. So I just, I just, I
Hmm.
just I just try to put it with me. I just try to put everything more so on a human level, make human beings accountable for what we do to each other, and to try to make the best lives instead of trying to be fake good, thinking that it's gonna get you something after you die. I just believe that. So I don't want to be
Mm,
fake good. You know?
okay, when I mention spiritual rewards, I'm talking about what I have in mind. I would say is
Yeah.
doing a good deed because it is deemed by you to be done. It there like say for instance, when I was in the military,
Hmm.
um, a lot of the guys weren't uh, conducting their duties like they were scheduled to, and I had noticed that if a particular task wasn't completed, one of the guys were going to get in trouble. I took it upon myself to complete the task, and I said it without announcement. I just did it. I was like under the because I genuinely didn't want discord. I didn't want I'm sorry, a disruption in the structure and order of things. I mean, for somebody to get in trouble, the branch chief just makes a big hoopla about it, and I just felt like in the interest of keeping peace, I don't know what that brother was going through, but he neglected a his responsibility. So I just did it. I just did the task, walked away, didn't tell anybody. Lo and behold, somebody observed me, quote unquote, covering for him.
Mm.
And, they brought it to my
So was that
attention.
so was that better for you or was that worse for you?
Well,
Or
this is
did
the
it even
thing.
matter?
This is the thing. I was scolded for, quote unquote, covering for him. I was scolded for that. I wasn't reprimanded, but I was scolded for it. And what had occurred
How
when
dare
I
you?
was in a what
Dare,
hey,
shame. Shame on you.
yeah, what occurred when I was in a jam, because I found myself to be uh how can I put this? Administrate. I was going through some things. Okay, there was some people that didn't like me. Surprise, surprise, and they were coming at me real hard to get me out of that career field because they just had resentment that a woman dared to be present in that career field. So there was a lot of effort to paint me in a corner. And when it came time to the IG, the Inspector General, to make a decision as to whether or not to stamp for or against me, what I heard after he gave approval, the basically leave her the blank alone approval, you know, um, what I found out was there was a secret advocate that had enough power to testify about my integrity, and how it'd be a disservice to the armed forces to let go of an individual such as myself. And that's what I was talking about regarding spiritual accounts. Like sometimes a good deed may not occur in the moment, depending on your intent as to why you did it. You may reap rewards in the future. Cause I mean, I had everybody up against me. My back was against the wall. I was like, oh God, they got me. And it was a miracle that someone with enough power over they just they was like, look, y'all tripping, stop it. And they had to subjugate themselves to his power. And it was only because, and he didn't know me from a can of paint, but he relied on someone that observed me and how I conduct myself. So that's what I was referring to when it comes to spiritual rewards. So
Mm. Awesome, 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 Mella. Thank you for sharing that moment with us. Donnie, what the hell is going on, sir? And
Man, just I'm in the process of housebreaking the dog, so I'm paranoid looking over here. I gotta get up, I gotta get up, I gotta jump. Otherwise, it's a wonderful. It was Monday. I'm kind of lost in the quarantine. I'm just trying to catch up what was coming on. I came in with Mela mid conversation. I don't even know what she was talking about. I just wanted to fuck with Mela. This is Mela.
yeah,
Hi, Mela.
I just,
Hi. A lot of people have fun doing that. You know, they just like to see where I'll go with it. A lot of people do try
yeah,
to push the envelope with me. I didn't realize it was intentional until maybe about a month and a half ago. I was like, they're doing this on purpose. You mischievous little mischievous, you.
mhm.
But fortunately, I had already been introduced to those type of characteristics in the military. I had, and I think that's why I keep showing up. It's like this is nothing new that people target somebody to um toy with, you know. And depending on what it is I'm experiencing, and that can include nutritional deficiencies, I could be more or less patient about it. There are times when I just laugh it off. There are times when I retaliate. There are times when I offer an alternative view, and the list goes on. But I'm aware of what y'all doing. It's cute though. It's cute. I like the
Yeah,
stimulation. I mean, when you're what do they call this? Shelter in place, especially. I mean, after
shelter.
being
Yeah.
separated, I was kind of already accustomed to shelter in place.
Well,
I was already
shelter in
accustomed
place.
to it.
Shelter in place is the moment that all introverts were waiting for. Including myself, who, has an entertainment setup at his house, and I can pretty much sit down and just do that and just enjoy the finer things in life. I don't have to be, everywhere doing everything at all times. I mean, I'm sure it'll be there when it's made available again, but for now, I'm just chilling.
Right.
Trying to figure out how to homeschool. Because
Now that's
it's
a
like
good topic, Kev. That's a good topic.
yeah. Because I got a 5-year-old here, and she getting kind of wild, and I think that's her little way of dealing with cabin
Cabin
fever.
fever. Mm-hmm.
Punching daddy in the gut. Just not out of like she just be playing too, laughing and giggling and everything. I was like, wow, we have to go outside or something so she can get some of that
Yeah,
energy out.
right. The
Yeah,
house is
but
the playground, and that's not appropriate. So what do you do other than structure it the way
you always have
the
well,
school would, you know?
well, well, you always
What?
have to make the adjustment. Be yeah. That's what being a parent is about: being able to make the adjustment in times of adversity, because you still have a little person that cannot do for themselves. So, yeah, I mean, and
Eh,
Brandon even, let me see, and Donnie even more so knows this, because he got a little, saying
mhm.
it's,
I'll
Oh
share
yeah, the
it's
this.
Terminator. He be running around the
yeah,
Right.
house now, climbing on the dog, doing all kind of shit.
And this is what
yeah,
I
Yes, he's
will
climbing on
share.
the dog.
I will share this if I am so allowed. As a woman that has an adult male child, I guess he was well he's approximately in his 20s, and for whatever reason sensitivity got a hold of him, and he was apologizing to me for all the disruptive behaviors he conducted in his childhood. And as sweet as I thought that was, I corrected him on the spot. I said, "You did your job." I said, I said specifically to him, and I broke it down scientifically because he is a STEM, minded person. And I broke it down to him psychologically uh, through science, explaining that a person that's 18 years and younger is not legally uh, diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder because it is their job to be a narcissist. That's what a child's job is. It's their job to be self-centered, only focus on their immediate gratification, and what about, just that's not fair to me, and what about me, those types of personas that develop over time between birth and 18. That's their job.
Well,
And it
well,
sucks. It sucks if you don't know that.
Well, here's where I think he's coming from. He's starting to separate his child behaviors from his adult behaviors. And, he wants to make sure that his mother knows, one of the people that he's always looked up to. So that's how I'm taking that. Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't scolding him for it. I just wanted him to understand there, as much as I may have given the, I did seem kind of frustrated and overreactive for certain things that he did that I felt was unreasonable or needed correction so that that behavior wouldn't carry over into his adulthood. And he just thought that my overreaction in some of his behaviors was his fault. And it's like, it's not a question of whether or not it was your fault. It was my job to make sure you make it to adulthood unscathed. I couldn't let you harm yourself by just saying you're going to do what you want to do. That's how I grew up. I had parents that was just like, you're going to do what you want to do. And I didn't receive, that type of guidance that he did. And fortunately, he became a decent human being because of it. And not because of me, but because of the circumstances,
Okay. So all of us as parents, we're all parents here. So let me ask you a question. Let me ask all of us a question. Okay, because if your child, your offspring, had grown up to be a very evil, malicious person, would you blame yourself as a parent?
You
Would you
have
blame
to.
yourself as a
What
parent?
what is evil, malicious?
Like,
'Cause
I
I'm
mean,
pretty
just like,
fair.
like if they burn the house down and you don't know why, like if they kill a relative and you don't know why, what are you talking about?
no, like
To me,
evil as
arson and murder is evil. Outside of that, we'll figure something out.
Mhm.
I keep it simple. I keep it simple. I'm sorry, I do.
Arson and murder. So Lisa Left Eye Lopez was just an evil person. But well,
No,
evil as
no
in
comment.
like I'm just saying, like, okay, let's do this degree of evil. Evil like sneaking to I would say being in Central Park feeding pigeons Alka-Seltzers and
Oh yeah, that's attempted murder to a animal. That's attempted murder.
I did that shit in high school. Actually, we had a teacher that because we had a pigeon problem on the campus, and we had a teacher. She give us extra credit if you could blow the pigeons up. So we were popping the motherfuckers all day.
Wow.
Oh, so that actually is true. They will pop if you give them Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, they can't release gas, so if you give it to them, they swell up. Some of them will just swell up a little bit and they look uncomfortable. But if they get enough of the alcohol, because you have to break the tablets up, but if they get enough of it, it's game over.
Ooh, wow, didn't know that. Like I thought maybe that they just imploded on the inside. I didn't know they actually just.
No, they don't. They don't like.
They don't pop like a balloon, do they?
Nah, they don't pop like that.
Oh, okay.
Like on TV.
They do bust. They break at the seams and shit. So it's not pleasant. But yeah, the motherfuckers die.
Yeah. Well, my answer to my question is yes. If my kid turned out to be kind of a POS person that really just did harm to others just to do harm to others and ruin lives, then yeah, I would pretty much blame it was some kind of breakdown in my parenting. It's just and it's an L. It's an L for me. So
have you ever watched Family Guy? The animation.
Yeah.
And Stewie, the character Stewie.
Yeah, Stewie Griffin.
That's right. That's an evil baby. And
Right, because he wanted
I
to kill his
remember
mother.
Who's that
he was
man?
just he beat up the dog and everything, man. He was
Oh
just
yeah.
that character was crazy, man. And
Oh,
it made me think, like, are some people just born bad?
yeah, well, you know what though? That's just that's an interesting point because I've had this discussion with people before, and they would always say that sometimes parents just can't help the way that their children turn out. And I don't know if I could buy it. I always just believed, and I don't know if it's me being insensitive or not. I always believed that somehow, some kind of way in the child's upbringing, something happened. And either the
Oh
parent
yeah.
was not paying attention, either they
Oh
weren't
yeah.
paying attention, or they had something to do with it. You
Absolutely.
know, and both of them are fouls. I mean, if you weren't paying attention, what kind of parent are you not being able to pay attention to what your child's being exposed to?
Absolutely.
You know, and
That was one of my things. I was ever attentive. Like, there was no way I was going to not be aware of his whereabouts, you know. And a lot of people thought I was too I didn't hover. You see, there's a difference. Is, knowing where he
well, I
is
ain't saying smother.
versus, yeah, I didn't smother him. I just always knew where he is, so that so nothing would get out of hand in the event that something some irresistible urge came over him to do something destructive and crazy. It's I remember there was this opportunity for him to do something. I think go to a party. He got to the age where he was going to parties. I think he was about 16 or so. And his father, everybody was like, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, have a good time." And they just left it like that. I said, "No, we need the address, the phone number to the parents in the event that he has not returned by the time designated. We have a route recourse." And people looked at me like, "You gonna ask those people for their private cell phone numbers?" I was like, in the event something was to occur that prevented him from returning, wouldn't you want the damn address and phone number? They was just gonna they was cool with him just saying, "I'm going over my friend's house and I'll be back by 10:30." They was cool with that. I wasn't cool with that. I was like, okay, in the event you don't get here by 10:30, I need the address of your whereabouts, what you suggest are going to be your whereabouts, and the phone number to the responsible adult at that address. And I said, I'm not trying to break your good time. I promise you, I'm not going to be one of those like sitting outside, you know, scoping the place. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just saying, in the event you're not here at 10:30, it's going to be some phone calls and visits made, because I don't play that. I do not play that. I could just get old. See, one or two things: either he's slick enough to think he's just going to get over on us by not giving us any detailed information of his whereabouts, or something could actually occur where we would look stupid as parents if we didn't know. He just said he was going to a party. We don't know where it was. We don't know. That's just irresponsible as a parent. And they didn't look at it until I was able to explain it to them as, I'm not impeding on his freedom to have a good time. I just need um information in the event of an occurrence that is that disrupts his growth. For him not to return at 10:30 as he confessed he would, that's like, okay, that's not cool. And because and actually he was able to come and go as he pleased. He was actually able to come and go as he pleased, as long as it was understood that you cannot be doing some sneak stuff. because we are responsible for your well-being. And if something, God forbid, would have happened to you, we would look incompetent as parents if we didn't know where the hell you was at. And that's what I was on.
Well, and based on what you said earlier, I think he got the message, loud and clear. Well, when you were saying that he was sorry that he behaved this way and that way, yeah, he got the message. So, I mean, I don't think you have anything to worry about on that end.
He was hard on himself. He made it seem like he was a monster. I said, boy, do you know how difficult it is to be a black man in this country? You turned out just fine. Believe me. I said, you didn't go to jail. You didn't go to juvie. I mean,
Also, Gerald has a question. I think he's asking, did she raise her son with dad? Did you raise your son with the dad? I mean, I think you did mention that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
his
he had
father
a balance.
his father always communicated with him, and that is fine. He doesn't have the best relationship with his father, but his father always communicated with him.
Okay, all right. So his father was there, you would say.
That he was there the best way he could be as a man.
Okay. All right then.
Yeah. Under the circumstances, he made himself reachable.
Okay. So it's safe. I would say that's safe to say that's a YES. But you of course know better than I do. Okay. All right. So what would you say, like what would you consider evil? Well, how would you use the term evil? Like you're an evil person. What would somebody have to do to earn that title from you?
Ooh, poison someone's, like, for instance, if a person likes black eyed peas, well, I don't know what your favorite bean dish is, but some people like red beans. No, some people like red beans and rice. Let's just take that. Most people like red beans and rice. So any event that you're the type of person that likes red beans and rice, and you depend on your wife.
I do like red beans and rice, especially with sausage cut up in it. Yeah,
right. And you depend on your significant other most times for meals. Like, say you're the griller. Like when it comes to summertime, you always on the grill. But during the cozier months, the other
the evil thing. The evil thing.
Okay, I'm getting to the evil part. Now, any event that you're the spouse that doesn't like hot food, but they do. And they got tired of seasoning their own plate according to their taste, and they just decided to make that big old pot of beans, red beans and rice, as spicy as they wanted to. And it just that's but I think I would call that vindictive. I think I would call that vindictive.
I would call that a prank.
Yeah, that's not really evil, right? That's not evil. I don't know. If somebody,
if my kid became a coon, I would feel like I failed in life as a parent. But a lot of these people, what I'm hearing is evil, just regular ass petty conversation, petty movements. So
I've heard some news stories. A lot of evil people are in prison now. So if you want to refer to those headliners,
well,
we can do that.
The thing is, people in prison, I don't know.
Yeah, the majority of people in prison are. Well, I said the majority though. The majority of them are evil. And if they weren't evil going in, they probably learning how to be evil, because you got to learn how to be evil to survive in there.
Well. You have to think of you have to think of people in prison as this. A lot of people in prison are just simply people who made mistakes. It doesn't necessarily mean that they were hardened criminals that just did nothing but shitty things and finally got what they deserved in the end. Is a lot of people in the system are people who got the raw deal.
Yeah, the majority
It's
of
like
people in prison, I would say, especially black men in particular, because this is what we're talking about, have
Oh,
mitigating circumstances that put them there, or they're a product of urban survival syndrome, which is kind of you being put into the jungle and having to act like a big cat in order to survive. There's a lot of things you must do, and based on your circumstances and your environment, that you have to do to survive. So, being that you're a product of that, and we have a white supremacist system that is designed to basically take advantage of people in that system or that scenario. A lot of black men are in prison based on that simply put. The majority of black
now.
men in prison are non-violent drug offenders. The reason these men are selling drugs is because they don't have an opportunity to do anything else.
Mm.
wow.
Yeah, I will say, depending, it also depends on what they're in there for and what they're actually guilty of. Now, if you're just somebody who killing people just to kill, like I would say a John Wayne Gacy, that's evil. You know, someone who I would say that what I would think of the most evil person I can think of probably is a merciless, heartless child killer. Because I'm not saying that one crime is bigger than more, but an evil person to me is a person like that, a person that just does not care about the purity and the innocence of a child. That I will put that as a really evil person.
That is evil.
Yeah.
In addition to selling drugs to your own kind, that's evil too.
And it's
Yeah,
the
but you got to look at it like this. Some people are selling drugs because they don't know any better. They can't do anything else. So yeah, while we look at it as bad that you were selling crack to your community, you're in a position to where what else you gonna do? All you can do is sell crack to your community or starve. What you gonna choose?
That's not true. There were
yeah.
options there
What
were other options.
what are other options when you come up in a household with because we know the large majority of our community is raised by a
I
single
gotta
mother,
go
right?
on mute. I'm gonna let you go ahead and defend people that sold drugs to the community. Go ahead,
No, no,
baby.
no, no, because I have something to say about that too. But go ahead, Donnie.
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody who sells drugs to the community is a saint or an angel. What I'm saying is a lot of the people in that position have been brought up in a household where there's no income coming in. They don't know right from wrong. It's a Section 8 household, so they mama collect a check on the 1st and 15th, stay at home, smoke a little weed, kick them out when we'll go with gentleman caller comes over. So they're in a fucked up position. They may have been caught in the car with somebody else because black people often get caught for no reason with a little bit of weed, and it gets turned into a felony, or you get put to a position where you can't make any money with a legitimate job. So the
Are
position
you
you're in,
trying to tell me that people grow up in those environments with no sense whatsoever of right and wrong? They just oblivious to what right and wrong is. That's what you're
right,
telling me?
right and wrong is subject, right? It's
Oh,
subjective.
okay. Yeah, that's an excuse.
It's not an excuse. Right and wrong is
Let me.
subjective. What you see is right and wrong. The white man may see is completely different, and he's got an upper hand on you.
So
So
why does Kev get to make the argument that doing whatever it is he said is evil? What why is that not subjective?
it's been subjected the whole time. What have I been saying? Every time
Oh,
KFC something, I say, "Oh well, shit, I do that on a normal basis." Oh, I don't see that as bad.
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Okay,
As long
I
as you
have this.
own up
Okay,
to it, no problem. Okay,
okay,
so
okay.
evil
Yeah,
is
also.
subjective.
Okay,
All right.
here. Okay, okay. Let me do this real quick. Let me get back to the point about drugs. Okay, I have this belief about drugs. Okay, even though that there are very harmful drugs that are very addictive and that can harm people, and we do feel like that drug dealers are taking advantage of people's weaknesses. You have to understand at the most minimal level that drugs are self-inflicted. Oh, it's that
Y'all just
simple.
gonna yeah,
No,
y'all
no,
just
no.
gonna keep on with
They're
these excuses.
self-inflicted. They're
Y'all just
self-inflicted. A lot of
so
people do
the
drugs. A
drug
lot of
dealer
people do
gets a
drugs
pass,
because they
but
want
the
to do them.
drug
Because
user
they want
doesn't.
to do them.
Uh-huh.
Because that a lot of people do drugs because they want to do those drugs.
The
Well, let me
drug
say
Let's
this.
dealer
go. Let's
sells
go ahead and
drugs
keep
because
it real.
he wants to do it.
I'm gonna say this.
The same
Cocaine is bad.
applies.
Can we all agree cocaine is bad? Cocaine will kill you
Oh,
if
that's what
you
you're
have.
looking for, agreement.
No, this is what I'm saying. Cocaine, if you have extreme use, right? I'm not talking about a sniff here and there. I'm talking about you go buy a ball of cocaine every day, twice a day. That's gonna kill you in the long run, right or wrong? Can we agree on that?
What's the 8 ball?
it,
Like the pool. Wait a minute, we're talking about pool?
it's an amount of drugs. We don't need to go into the amount. We're just gonna say a decent amount of drugs,
Oh,
right?
okay. We're
Okay,
still on
okay,
the
okay, okay,
drug.
okay. Let's put it like
Okay.
this. Let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. If a cokehead, okay, if a cokehead dealer decides, say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to sell any more of this harmful poison to my people. I'm just going to quit. You know what that cokehead's going to do? He's going to go look for another connect. That's what he's going to do. That's why I say these things. That's why I say that these things are self-inflicted. I mean,
Listen,
it's
I just want to hit it from a different angle. This is why I said if you do cocaine on a consistent basis, on a large amount, on a large scale amount,
Y'all can
that
defend
makes
the
you an addict.
drug dealer all
Hold
you
on.
want to.
Let me just get to the point. It makes you an addict, right? And we tell you that, or it's always said that the coke dealer is a bad guy, right? But every day you see people go to the doctor and they get a prescription for what? Percocet, for Oxycontin, for Vicodin, and they take 3, 4 of these pills, and it's prescribed for them to take 3, 4 of these pills. That person's an addict, but you don't say nothing about these white people making these pharmaceutical drugs, addicting people and getting them hooked. Don't nobody come out and say, "Well, they're the bad guys."
They're drug dealers too.
Okay, so
Pharmacists
why
are
is it a
drug
different
dealer.
stigma on the white man selling it and the black man
It's
selling it? What's the difference?
industry, established industry of power. The power structure of industry
let
has
me see. Let me
deemed that some drug dealers get a pass, known as pharmacists, as opposed to a brother in the hood. He don't get a pass. They're both evil.
Yeah.
Oh
Let me
well,
let me put it like this: I think that every drug dealer by now knows that they are breaking the law, and you know this, and that's the part where they're falling short on. But to sit there and say that all of them are not, I don't think the pot dealer is a bad person. In fact, I think he's a street savior. Actually, you know.
And therein lies your favoritism variable. You
Hey,
have
you know what? You know what though?
a
I never said I
variable of
wasn't a little
favoritism.
I've never said I wasn't a little biased in certain things. You know, perfection is something that I am never ever going for when I come to these conversations. But but I told you not everyone, and I tell everybody, not everyone has to agree with me. You don't. It's not mandatory. I'm just telling you what I think, and what I think is just that I'm almost to the point where I think that drugs should not be illegal. If you want to kill yourself, go right the fuck ahead. It's like there's nothing I can do. I can say, hey, you know what? It's not smart and based on scientific evidence. But hey, you know what else what else can I do besides that? You know, besides make the choice myself not to do those drugs. Now, if someone wants to people capitalize on a lot of BS every fucking day in this society. I mean, economically, they do illegal stuff that's fucked up and poor as hell to do to people. But hey, you know, it's just like Donnie said. Yeah. But anyway,
yeah, no, I completely. I feel like the whole issue is a lot of times it's people in bad positions, fucked up, precarious positions that they can't do much, nothing else. You know, so if you're in a position where there's no income coming into your neighborhood, you're not given a chance because we all know black people are not hired at the same rate as white people. We all know that when you are a black person, you are at higher risk to get pulled over, picked on, be put in a precarious position to get even given a false charge. So let's say you get hit with you're in poverty, the police pull you over at some point, you get a false charge, so now you got a felony. What are you to do? You can't go get a regular job like everybody else. You can't even live in the same place. So your only outlook to really be uh, uh, to take care of your family, to take care of yourself is what? Crime. Otherwise, you suck at minimum wage if you can get a minimum wage job. And a lot of people can't settle for that. You got 2 kids, 2 mouths to feed, and everything else. And yes, I realize there's a position where you can say, well, you shouldn't be in that position, but shit happens. So, you get a motherfucker who's got 2 kids and a girlfriend to take care of, $10 ain't gonna cut it. So yeah, they start selling dope. Dope. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, well, you know what though? But you know what though? I will say this. I don't like the drug dealer that's the gun-toting guy that pulls guns on people, that robs people, or tries to strong arm and tries to run the hood with an iron fist of bullying people and killing folks. I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy at all. I think that guy.
What a
Go
lot
ahead.
of people don't understand is that's the guerrilla tactics of the game, right? If you're a respectable individual and you run your business as a respectable individual, you don't have to be a gun-toting goon. Yeah, there's a time and a place for everything, but a lot of times, with these situations, just your credibility, your strength of character will carry you through. But you be in a fucked up position. Yeah, motherfuckers be running around here being goons, robbing the other drug dealers, doing other slick shit. It's whole categories among subcategories. The whole situation's crazy. That's why I just don't think it's a cut and dry situation to say something like that is evil per se.
A new category of evil is soon to erupt. There may be a circumstance of food shortages imposed upon everyday citizens, and not because they can't afford the food, but because they might be designated to not participate in the transaction of purchasing food. Like in the Midwest, in Chicago, for instance, I get those news reports, and what is apparently an upcoming mandate is that people have to wear a mask in order to enter any establishment, any business, anything like that, which is fine.
That's not countrywide.
Hold on. Well, I don't know if it's countrywide. I just know the larger cities are establishing that mandate as a preemptive measure, and I get it. However, has anybody taken the time to look on what is being conditioned amongst us? What's being conditioned amongst us is a form of cooperation that will lead to subjugation. Has anybody ever thought about it like that?
I think that people have repeatedly over and over again thought about it like that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they do have the tinfoil hat people. I mean, but that kind of thinking I was on back in I would say 2009, 2010,
Me
even
too.
19.
Me too. I was thinking about that. People was tripping. I was stocking up on stuff in case of quote unquote doomsday. All these non-perishables, and I remember, and it wasn't hoarder style, but it was it was stuff that would last at least 6 months to a year. Like I learned how to pickle things. I learned how to make fermented vegetables and dehydrate fruits and all types of stuff. And people was tripping, like, why are you doing this? And I said, in case of a rainy day, in quotation marks, in case of a rainy day. And I promise you, when the government starts increasing its demands of selectivity, you might want to be able to sustain yourself without depending on them giving you permission to obtain resources through their systems.
So out here, in order to enter any grocery store, business established, period, point blank, you must have on a mask. If you want to get on the bus, you must have on a mask. If you want to get on any kind of public transportation, you must have on a mask. They will find you. They will pull you out of the store. They will pull you off the bus. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about that. There's videos online of people pulled off the bus with no mask.
It's a whole new world now. It's a whole new world. It's like, if people are willing to cooperate with that, then they are willing to eventually subjugate themselves to some type of quote unquote miraculous vaccine that's coming out. But what people don't understand about science is there's this new fangled concoction that infuses itself into your bloodstream where it connects to the digital technology in the air that's going around, and
5G.
you can actually, yeah, like they can actually track your location, they can track your temperature, they can track your I can't say they can listen to what you're saying in conversations, but they can definitely inject a tracking device via a vaccine. And why wouldn't you subjugate to yourself to believing you ought to have this vaccine if you've already exercised these submissive actions of wearing a mask in order to do what you used to do to conduct your daily um you know, activities and errands, and like the city, the government, everybody's now telling everybody what to do and they're complying with it instead of looking at it from a perspective as to whether or not it's infringing upon their freedoms, you know, their
The whole
freedoms.
quarantine is infringing upon our freedoms, right? But we do it not because we're afraid of the government. We do it because we feel there's a greater good in this situation. The greater good is getting rid of this
That's
virus. The
why
greater
it's the
good.
perfect that's why it was the perfect storm to take advantage of this virus outbreak as opposed to other virus outbreaks that had occurred.
But you got to think,
You
other
know,
countries did this and they went into a real lockdown and they don't have this problem anymore, right? So, yeah, we did this voluntarily, but the government couldn't come in and say, hey, we've got curfews for no reason and people just comply with that shit. It would be legitimate riots in the street. We do this because it's for our own good and people realize that. Now, granted, there may be some inflations of the numbers going on in order to kind of promote this, but it's not a
and
scenario
that's
where they come in and just say, "Hey, listen, everybody got to be in by 9:30. We only have."
and
They
Donnie,
wouldn't.
this
That
is
wouldn't fly.
why this is the caveat to the evil conversation. What makes us think that the quote unquote government isn't evil enough to take advantage of everyone submitting to mandates?
I would like to take a crack at that answer.
What makes it
Go ahead, Gerald. Hey,
okay?
what's up,
Hi.
Gerald?
Hey,
What's going on?
hello, everyone. Trust me, I just wanted to listen, but when she said evil, it was getting kind of funny because I typed in, well, the Menendez brothers, that's considered evil. So when she was going on about evil, then she said the drug dealer, and I was over here tap dancing, saying, okay, I got to get online because you got to understand the biggest drug dealer was the United States government. Who was in the United States government for over 30 some years? It was George Cocaine Pushing Bush Sr. He was the man.
Iran Contras.
He was the man. He had the floodgates open. And the one thing about the internet, I love the information because people hate Umar Johnson. But Umar Johnson gave out some fantastic information. He said it. If they hadn't have pumped drugs, America's situation would have failed. And we all know that the currency is worthless. And now we're in a situation talking about what? The virus? Hell, come on, y'all. Y'all been living just like I've been living. Y'all saw the virus. Ronald Reagan, an actor, was a president. Who was the vice president? George Bush Sr. Then they tried to take out Ronald Reagan. Then they got George Bush Sr. And what was his vice president name? It wasn't Al Gore. What was George Bush's Quayle? What was his name? His name was
Dan
Quayle.
Quayle?
Yes, he was the first man who mentioned the word deadbeat, that black women jumped on board and started calling us deadbeats. Now they got rid of George Bush for 4 years because then Clinton came up, which they said he was the first black president, which to me that was either the first woman president or the second woman president, because I put a lot still on Nancy Reagan. So remember, they tied child support up in the credit and started throwing men in jail. About that time, even before that, remember, children started missing, y'all. Missing. This thing is not about a virus. It's about staying your ass in, because if we out in the streets, Just think what they did in front of each and every one of y'all. They bombed their own World Trade Center. It came down demolition style. It didn't lean to the right. It didn't lean to the left. Let's even talk about the Pentagon. Evilness, virus. Man, the virus is the people who were in government. I kind of like Trump. I'm glad he's an actor. It's the people behind Trump that's trying to get this thing straightened out. We're living in a very, talking from a man at 62 that saw Kennedy get killed, we're living in a very sadistic world. It is off the chain, and even my old black ass is scared because I've seen it in my little years. I've seen it, and I can only imagine my grandmother being born in 1914. I can only imagine what she saw. And I said this the other day to my friend. I said, man, I know she's seen lynching. I know it. Things have changed, but they ain't changed that much. I just hope that we can keep them bastards out, because let's face it, the Democratic Party is the lynching party. They lynched us like you're killing pigs. So that virus is those people in government, such as Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, the Clintons. Let's not even go across the entertainment field. Children's missing. They want the adrenochrome. Come on, help me, y'all. I know y'all see it. Y'all may not want to talk about it, but we got to talk about it.
No, you.
Listen, I'm not trying to commit missing.
Okay, well, you know, sometimes I hate to come over because sometimes I don't want to sound like I'm crazy.
No, always no.
No.
You have the age and wisdom that I am willing to listen to.
But I'm still explaining.
And that's saying a lot.
Well, I've seen a lot. I remember Dot had said, man, you come on my show anytime. I'll be waiting on you guys' show sometime just to come out.
But it's like this. You did. But like this, you did mention the World Trade Center, the tower, how they came down demolition style.
Yes.
And it still perplexes me how no one challenged this logic of how something that's small in compared to a building was tons of concrete and steel. Tons and tons, thousands and thousands of tons.
Check this out.
Be brought down by a plane.
Check this out. Check this out. What I just learned, man. Yeah, and I know the information's right there, but I know you guys probably busy working. I was looking at something called I think it was the Weekend Warrior or the Net Most Wanted. It was one of those guys. Man, I had to stop and start crying. And I bet you neither one of y'all could guess. Guess what one of the ingredients of concrete building these buildings are? The one ingredient, you'll never guess it, but I give you a hint. Red Cross.
Blood.
Ain't that up? That's evil. So you telling me, and I'm just learning this, that blood is one of the ingredients in concrete? It's like I walked around, I cried, of course. Thank God for marijuana.
Wait a minute.
Mary.
Do you if you got a wrench, can you post that link, please? I'm interested in looking into it.
Okay, well, you know what? I will. Again, the one guy is Net Most Wanted, and the other guy is Weekend Warrior. Now, for about a month, they was throwing so much information up on YouTube that, man, that female said, "Oh no, we got to take this down. We got to take this down." They started banning the information, but people started getting around that information and saying, "I'm gonna." Well,
you know what though.
Talk.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen videos like this before, but you know, YouTube, you know, quote unquote, is cracking down on the conspiracy theories.
True.
This, you know, accusing the conspiracy theories of spreading unrest.
I think those people that are in power, I think
they call. Oh, look at that puppy! Yeah, they call them alarmists. They're trying to stamp out the alarmist, right?
Yes.
Which is that's what they're doing. And at first I was like, wow, how selective that they're only picking people that come up with these enlightened concepts. And then they scolded the president. Of course, he tried to play it off when he was suggesting that people, you know, that that top scientists develop a way for people to get injected with Lysol or what it was, bleach or some crap. He said,
okay, but did he say?
he's
Now, I
so
didn't hear it.
crazy.
Did
He
he
is
say?
so crazy.
Did he actually say that though?
He
'Cause I
actually
didn't.
said that dumb shit. I laughed so
He
fucking
said
hard.
it.
And when the segment
So
was over,
crazy.
the newscaster
This
came on
man
and was
is
like,
crazy
I
as
just want to
hell.
reiterate, don't do that.
So he,
That's not a thing. Don't try that at home. I said,
yeah.
oh,
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that's why they want to scold the alarmists. They want to scold them. They don't necessarily. They want to scold. They want to. How could I put this? You know how some people want to shut women up? That's kind of what they want to do to the alarmists. Like, look, y'all, we can't let you all just go around flipping off at the mouth because you're sounding irresponsible, alarming people, and the way in which you alarm people without facts. And that's the way
Just
I
like
look at it. You know, that's the way I look at it.
just like when you try to say when people trying to shut women up, who are these people? Uh-oh.
I
Who are these
won't
people that are trying
mention
to shut
any
women up?
names. Nah, I won't mention any names.
Well,
Names.
well, you know what? I'm just.
I'll say this.
What?
There was a specific upload. I'll just speak for me.
Go.
Right? There's a specific upload by a specific YouTube content creator dedicated to shutting me up.
Well, just be
Oh,
clear.
yeah.
Who was it?
what you do?
I observed and kept it pushing.
All right. What you supposed to do? I mean, now if you had the power of Oprah Winfrey, yeah, we're gonna try to shut you up. Nobody wants to hear what Oprah got to say anymore. Yeah, I'm just saying. Oprah, listen.
Now I think Gail should have been shut up. If anybody should have been shut up, it should have been Gail. And then Gail want to bring out her damn regalia of Secret Service forces and shit. And,
No, that was Susan Rice. That was
that was cold. That was cold blooded. It's like, you know, that was cowardice of Gail to not hold herself accountable for being a treacherous broad. And what happened is all her powerful friends saw her crying about, oh, what have I done? And they was like, no, we're gonna fix this for you. And because they have that, you know, influence, they shut him down.
Well, you got to also understand this always a distraction. Look this way, look this way, look this way. A lot of the heat was coming down again on the government. Let me say this again, y'all. My ass is so old that I remember there was no children on milk cartons. I remember this, but that means all of us was born. There was things going on that our parents didn't know. There were scavengers. There were, what do you call the people that eat flesh? What do you call them? You call them cannibalists. There were cannibal things going on right up under our nose. So just look at the powerful people. They had to say certain things to these people. Okay, you got to say this. Because what she said about Kobe, it wasn't the right time to say it. But what if they pulled a string like a puppet? What if? See, I got to look at it. I got to smoke one and then look at the whole picture. Like, why would a black woman say that about a black man? Besides,
I look at it like, why would a black woman try to convince another black woman that she has no right to determine the integrity of friendship that she had with that black man? That she was trying to convince her, like, nah, what you talking about is delusional. He is this, that, and the other type of monster. That's what sickened me.
Which goes right back to what I'm saying.
That's the part that sickened me.
What if the puppet master had to pull that string? Because remember now, this rabbit hole is deep. These people got something on somebody. I mean, all you got to do is kind of like do your own journey.
Gail thought she was challenging her, but in fact, what Gail was doing was actually trying to promote a narrative, and whether or not she was aware of it doesn't matter.
Here's what Gail.
She did it.
What you gonna say?
Here's what Gail's trying to do. Gail was trying to do that gotcha bullshit that she did when she was interviewing R. Kelly, and she was trying to do, and you know, she was trying to play get the black man, and it backfired.
But
Now,
okay,
but but at the same time, it didn't backfire enough because she still got her job.
yes. So, and to back with you, what I'm trying to do is expand that thought. So, behind closed doors, did they talk about this? Did this come up just like that, or did the puppet master, who has things on people, who has, let's say Gail did something compromising that she shouldn't have done, and then they say, well, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. Understand, this rabbit hole is deep. That's why most of the times I listen to you guys, because I kind of like look at other things and try to piece this together like a puzzle. And I'm saying these people have really got certain people in a situation, such as Oprah. When you see Oprah and Gail sitting with Tom Hanks, and now I'm finding out that I thought Tom Hanks was a fantastic actor, only to find out that the dude was messing around with little girls. Like, whoa, what? Wait.
Well, he dressed as a transvestite on a TV show about 3 decades ago.
Well, yeah, but okay, look, let me explain that. It was a
Oh,
show that came out in the early '80s called Bosom Buddies.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, bosom buddies.
yeah. In order to get this tight ass living arrangement, him and his roommate dressed as women. They cross dressed as women.
I don't even remember that. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, look it
Really?
up. Bosom buddies. There
Okay.
he was in full view. You know, and what was the comedy of it? Because it was a comedy. The
Right.
comedy of it all was how awkward he was playing that position. Like he would sit with his legs open and his hands on his private area, you know, scratching himself. And that's not indicative of every man to do. I'm just saying for the comedic effect,
Right.
they would emphasize how difficult it was for him to transition into playing the role of being in this all women's environment
Wow.
as a cross-dresser,
I
you
wouldn't
know.
have-
Well, you know
Yeah.
you know, they talk about these Hollywood rituals. You know
Yes.
that these guys, in order to make it big, they have to act way out of character. That's why they put some of these guys in these gay roles, and then they put them in dresses. Like you got Dave Chappelle talk about how they tried to put him in a dress, even though Dave Chappelle did put on a dress in a
Sure
role.
did. In the Robin Hood comedy movie. Sure
Yeah,
did.
Robin Hood. Yeah, Robin Hood, Men in Tights. But that was, to me, that was more.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that was more satire than anything. But then they said that they tried to do that in that movie. What was that movie with Martin Lawrence, Blue Streak?
Yeah.
Like they tried, like really, like I understand like why he would do it in a comedy like Robin Hood, Men in Tights, and why he wouldn't do it in a movie like Blue Streak. People need to understand and see that. You know, that with him actually trying to pretend that he was a woman. Then who was that? Who was that guy? Brandon something. Um, that Brandon Jackson, he played on Tropic Thunder. He was the one that sold the energy drink Booty Sweat.
That brother, he talked about how he shouldn't have done that now. Yeah, I know you're
Yeah.
talking about the young brother. Yes. He
Yeah,
talked about that.
yeah. Let's welcome Rogish. What's going on, man?
What's up, Rogish?
Hey, peace to y'all, man. How y'all doing on this COVID-19 vacation we have?
We doing good, man.
We surfing it out.
Real talk. I heard y'all. I came in y'all speaking about Tropic Thunder. I gotta ask y'all. Like I've done stand-up comedy and studied comedy and studied humor. What's Cuz name? Robert Downey Jr. His character as Lincoln, whatever it was. I gotta ask you, did you know it was him before anybody told you it was him?
I did. I paid to go
Yes,
see it.
I
I did.
Only because of his facial features. If you know, it's because I recognize who he is.
Right.
But they did the best that they could to
It was
disguise him.
funny.
He was hella funny. He was
But I
he
could,
was he was he
Yeah,
was he was
that's
funny to the point to
satire.
where he probably should have got he should have got a full pass
yep.
for
That
his
satire
portrayal of
was
blackface, because
ridiculous.
you forget that this cat was in blackface, especially when he was explaining the whole aspect of going retard, full retard, and half
Yeah,
retard. It was like, yo, this is exactly how a brother would explain that shit.
yeah. But I couldn't understand why did he get so. I mean, in the backlash came later. People still talk about
way later
David
because you know
Wade.
because we had the transitions of errors. We went like, okay, let's put it like this. Tropic Thunder came out at the beginning of the Obama era. Now, post Obama era, this is when all them people started acting funny. Oh, if you say this, if you say that, we need to destroy you and ruin your life, even if you said it 10 years ago. Like that's when people started getting like that post Obama. You know, not that we even back in 2008, we thought Tropic Thunder was funny. I thought that shit was funny then.
It was
I
hilarious.
thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
Because we were secure. We felt we believed, or I don't even know what words to use with men anymore. However, it was thought.
That's funny.
I'm serious.
Now, that's funny.
No, you have no idea how honorable that is on so many levels, because
it was
you
thought.
giving yourself a second thought at projecting to what we might be thinking. That is so honorable. Most of the time, it's just the first.
It would appear that it was thought. Thank you, brother. Thank you. It was it would appear it was thought we as a people were more secure in our placement in this society. And then when things became more evident to remind us there's still work to do, that's when we revved up the engine. Okay. That's my humble opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going more in the direction of if the show Martin came out today.
Okay.
Could he get away with doing things like, dressing as his mother and dressing as Shanae, stuff like that.
But they started
the Shanae, the Shanae thing would not fly today. Well, it would not.
I got it before all y'all. I got it with Flip Wilson. I got it before all you guys, because my name is Gerald, and I used to get teased about that Geraldine, which it bothered me, but I'm like, well, shit, I ain't putting on no dress. I'm not even concerned about that. But Flip Wilson did it. Flip Wilson got paid.
You know what? That's the funny thing. Back in your day, that black people was a whole lot more open to everything as far as that. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no aspect to where they bashed the people who did that. People who cross-dressed, they didn't get bashed. They might got some shit talked about them, but the same thing as somebody who had, really dark skin, really big lips or whatever. It's the same thing. There was no difference.
But guess why though? We didn't have social media. We barely had a color TV. Things were a little bit different. The food was real. Wasn't no McDonald's. It just, things was real. And then all of a sudden, social media came. Thing changed, and then they started playing the color game, which still blows me away. They still can succeed with, oh well, I'm light skinned, I'm better than you. How did you figure that? Who told you that?
No. But I bring that up to show that how they talk about, what I'm saying. But when they talk about the homophobia in the black community, they're talking about black men, because we're not down with the bullshit. We have our own cultural perspective of reality of what's right and what's balanced, and they don't want to respect that. So then, because black women have always been, they've been for any other people. They've always been for an effemination of black men. But
you know why though, right? Because they're scared of us. They know a billionaire said it. He said the slaves are waking up, and men are waking up real quick, because we it's just like we go to church. I don't want to hear what the preacher got to say. Teach me something, but don't sing to me and don't floralize me just to get the money out of my pocket.
Well, most brothers have fell out of church. They ain't in church no more.
That's right. We ain't there, because we know we don't want to see the little children get shot. And when cops start shooting children, like that cop did in Detroit, they shot that 6-year-old girl, went to the wrong house. I still question the fact, why isn't he taken care of? Yes, I said it.
By who?
You can answer that question.
I have a very Okay, before we get too far away from this, I have a very symbolic reasoning behind black men departing the church,
Okay.
because they describe the people who go to church as, the sheep.
Sheep.
And
True.
and God, he's the well, the preacher is I guess he's the sheep herder. Now, any man who has any sense about being a man does not consider himself a sheep.
Right.
And when you think of sheep, you think of terms of someone who's pretty blameless, that just follows and doesn't have their own thought process, that just where I'm going with this. That's why.
That's definitely why.
That's why right there. Like
true.
yeah, I'm not a sheep. I mean, why are you not teaching me to be a solid? No, why are you not attempting to teach me to be a more solid individual?
But see, that's the thing with church. It doesn't, or the way that the traditionally black church, it doesn't teach you anything about spirituality.
Nothing.
And that's what black men tend to crave more than anything, because that's what gets us inner fulfillment, is understanding spirituality, understanding your purpose, understanding a drive to where you can make yourself great within the world. You know what I'm saying? Or with those whom you value. Church doesn't do that. Church, they say sheep, but really they want you to be a lemming. You know what I'm saying? At least
church is just like church is just like the hospital almost these days. I mean, it's like it's money in the medicine, not in the cure. If you understand that context, when you apply that to church and how they give you their perception of spirituality and what it should be.
I need that education. He said something. They want us to be like what?
I said they say that you're a sheep, but you actually behave as a lemming.
Okay, educate. Yeah, keep going.
A sheep knows to stay on the cliff at least. A lemming, what lemmings are, is a European animal.
Okay.
That to this very day instinctively follows the same migration pattern, and the end of its migration pattern that it follows, which was from before the time when the continents were split, and before we had 7 large continents, we had one large one. They still follow that one large continental migration pattern, but right now there's nothing there. It's just a cliff, and they still by the millions run over into the cliff.
So basically, it's people that don't think for themselves. I'm sorry, creatures that don't think for themselves.
Well,
I think he was explaining like the sheep mentality
to their own demise.
Well, I mean, the sheep. The thing is, the things with sheep is that they can be led, right? But my perspective with it is that at least a sheep knows to stay on the cliff. It ain't finna run off the cliff. But the way that Christianity and how black churches with black people, they're more lemmings now, running for anything. If you think about it, have you noticed how Christianity or black church has adjusted itself many times throughout the years of you being a child onto an adult? And if you look at things like Islam, it ain't adjusted shit. And I'm not Islamic, but I'm just talking about maintaining an aspect of spiritual integrity. It's fluid and malleable.
That's why this is a good time to live, because we living long enough. You can see that, because again, what you're saying, I remember the Christianity church. Like, I grew up in Louisiana. Church across the street, church up the street, church back up that way. You go around the corner, a church is there. Texas is the same way. And I could never understand that. And then what you just said, they went from God, then they went to prosperity. And that's where you got the mega church and the pimps. And let's keep it real. Keep faith. Eddie wrong. They was the biggest pimps going on because the women, the black women, defended them clowns. Oh man, I had some heated fights in Georgia about why would you follow this clown and you won't even follow me to the movie? How?
Mm.
Come on. And it's like, I'm just saying. Again, I guess I am old as Methuselah. I can talk about this stuff now.
I think women want a love song, and there's something, I guess it's, well, scientifically speaking, there's this
Yes.
dopamine and all these
Right.
these neurotransmitters that cause this euphoric effect. And for whatever reason, that pastor has a way to inflict a euphoric effect amongst the weaker vessel, which is the woman. And that's why they won't let it go. I'm not gonna lie. If anybody is familiar with my name across YouTube verse, they are familiar with the fact that I was attached to some particular channel for a long period of time.
Was it a preacher?
Because of the euphoric effect of laughter. Laughter
It's good for the soul.
Is a different aspect of how to obtain, what's good for your adrenals and your, but it's all induced by a euphoric effect.
Did you actually admit that you all are the weaker creatures? Did you actually say that? Yeah.
In that regard,
I can't believe you interrupted me just to
I'm
do
sorry.
that.
I had
Never mind.
Oh, no, keep going. I'm sorry.
Live long and prosper, brother. Live long and prosper.
Please keep going. I just had to have it. I just had to have that one. No, I'm like, whoa.
So, sister, you speak in an aspect of the hormonal release that sisters get from being in church, which is really, it's the truth, because it's a show. Ultimately, it's a show, and it doesn't call any accountability. That's one of the reasons why Black men have a problem with it, is because all you have to do is, for those of us who have a certain resonance of understanding righteousness and leaning towards wanting to move in a path of light, you know what I'm saying?
It's a euphoria buffet.
It's a euphoria buffet, but you also have to acknowledge that it comes from a slave type of mentality. And in the slave type of mentality, the only good that you had in your life was that which you created for yourself, because the master wasn't giving you any. So all that they could get at church, that's why you got 4-5 songs every, every session or something like that. That's why you have the preacher delivering in ways. As a child, we would think, what makes somebody go before they say another syllable? You know what I'm talking about?
That's another aspect of it as well, brother. It's about the what is it called when you have a certain amount of hertz, or there's a sound.
Oh, the frequency?
Yeah, frequency. There's a sound frequency and a cadence. And if you perfect the sound cadence and frequency, you're able to further enhance the euphoric effect. And that's why people like the hook of a song. That's why people like a certain type of beat in music. I can roll. It's very seductive. It's very seductive.
Yeah, I can roll with that, because I have some songs, like, I don't know why I like them, but every time I hear them, it's just like, it puts me in that way. It just puts me in that mood. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But looks like I'm about to wrap it up in about 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna get people final thoughts. Anybody want to promote a channel or anything like that? Rogish, tell them about your channel, and we were on a broadcast the other day having a great discussion. So tell them about your channel.
Definitely.
Please, and put it in the chat room so I can follow, because I can't press on the icon anymore and get your page. So I would greatly, if you have a wrench, I would greatly appreciate it if you put your link in the chat so I could follow you. That'd be great. All of you.
Well, I mean,
And thank you.
you might not want to follow me. I got a lot of rage in my shit, and a lot of black people don't like tapping into that. So my thing is, with my page, it's actually designed with getting us to understand our cultural perspective of our rage and our frustration that we have with interacting with this system, with the unrighteousness of the system as we try to righteously act toward it, and being able to understand that we can voice that indifference that we have, and actually find a cultural powerful perspective within it. So it's called roguish, the buildmonger. The reason why I call it buildmonger is because as a child I always wanted to do some killmonger shit, but nobody is really on some spill the blood tip. So you gotta alchemize that kill energy into something that's a little bit more proactive. So instead of killmonger,
Rogus.
Roguish, the buildmonger. I apologize. I'm not sniffing because of
ROGISH. Roguish.
Nah, a whole lot more blacker than that. See.
Spell the roguish part.
I'm about to right now.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say put it in the chat so I can write. Yeah.
There we go.
Well, let me put it. I'll put it on the screen right there.
Okay, thank you, man. Oh, I see it. Got it.
Right, and roguish is people aren't familiar with that way of spelling it, but it's the same name, the same word as rogue. Roguish was just a word that we used in North Tulsa, Oklahoma, to mean ghetto before folks were saying ghetto. So that's what they called me as a child.
Did you say Tulsa, Oklahoma?
North Tulsa.
All right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, roguish. Roguish. Where I grew up at in Montgomery, Alabama. Roguish usually meant that you were kind of like you had sticky fingers.
It did.
Like you was still the sweetness out of sugar. That's what they say about roguish.
Got
you. That's cold. Still the sweetness out of
sugar. Yeah, some cold shit. Cold shit right
there. When you say something like that.
Hey, that's deep. Yeah. So you're from Alabama, so you know about the story of the brother getting shot, and then you're from Tulsa, Oklahoma, which was the last Black Wall Street, which they did that like they did Iran. I say that again. One thing about social media and the net, it gives up a lot of information that sometimes I just get mad by myself, because when I go out and talk about things like those two incidents, it's like people, like especially our people, it's like they ignore it. But there are some sheeples that are waking up. I said again, especially men. I think women they're gonna fall in. This sister right here, she's falling in, but there's a lot of sisters that's still out there, still wanting the man. And the fact is, I wish that what I said back in the 80s, I just wish we controlled our own economics. We wouldn't even be in this situation. You hear me?
That is a very, very strong point.
Relationship, fam. That only comes if we have the right relationships. A lot of whole time people saying just put your black money here, put your black money here, and we'll be able to develop it. But that's not the case. The case is that we exist within an anti-black environment, which subconsciously works on eroding our self-worth 24/7. So in the aspect of us having personal eroded self-worth, we're not going to have self-worth and reflection, nor those who reflect us, nor whatever genius that they put into developing whatever they can develop for a product. We're not going to see value in their product in order to want to have it and possibly place it within circulation. So the whole aspect behind us having our economics is actually based upon our proper and adequate relationships. But if we don't have correct social relationships, we're not going to value self or each other in order to even develop the proper economics.
Which is going on now. What you just said. Yep. You just said going on now. So, just hang on to the roller coaster, because this roller coaster is going spiraling down. It'll never be the same after this, man. And I'm living to see it.
I would have to say that this is one of the most unique times that I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anything like it.
Yep.
And it's quite interesting. It's not all bad. It's like it seems bad, but it's not all bad. Actually, it's kind of interesting. And I want to hopefully, knock on wood, I'll see it till its very end. But I started this conversation out on kind of an evil note, trying to get to the bottom, but it kind of get to the bottom of why we do certain things to each other. But it turned out to be an interesting discussion as always, with interesting people, and I do appreciate you guys for stopping by.
Oh man, I like
So-
it. Yeah, I like this show, man.
Always, fam. Thanks for the hospitality.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Me and Gerald kind of go back about 3 years, from the group. So
Yep.
Gerald's been around for, Gerald's been around for a while, and
Yeah.
I'm glad to be able to see that, somebody can see what I'm doing over here in these YouTube streets. So I do often appreciate that. Also appreciate Mella for stopping by. Thanks for supporting. As always, she's on quite a few channels, and although she says quite a few things that might throw people for a loop, then when have any of us have not said anything that's thrown people for a loop? So I mean, it's normal stuff to me. It's normal
Yeah.
shit to me. So
Yeah, snooze.
so anyway, my next broadcast people won't be waiting 2 weeks for it. I'll put it like that.
Hey, man, are you guys still working over there? I mean, you're working, or have they just basically shut everything down?
No. I mean, to me, this is kind of the weirdest lockdown ever, because it really doesn't feel like a lockdown. It just feels like that there are certain businesses that are closed, but I don't feel like. I mean, I've always been like a practical person that was easy to please anyway. It just feels like business as usual. As long as my child is happy, I'm good.
Right.
as
Well,
long as she fed, that's all that matters.
Well, over here in Canada, it's like, you see a lot of the white folks, they walk around, they have to get their exercise because, see, they need that vitamin D real bad. I need it too, but they need it even worse than me. And so the highways, it does look like it's a ghost town. The cops are pretty respectful, So, but the people still drinking, doing what they got to do. Now, that's what's funny about up here. Everything's closed.
I heard black
What?
people need that vitamin more so than white people.
Well, but remember now, we got melanated skin, so we soak it up too. But remember, they're not white; they're pale skin, so their pigmentation, they need it bad too. Especially now, they need it bad. They need it bad, and they have to have it. Remember, that sun is what we all need. And just think again, we're going to another evil conversation. Bill Gates, punk ass. Bill Gates, punk ass. They trying to, put up the chemtrails and all of that to block out the sun.
You can't blame them. You can't blame them for nothing that they do if they are in the position of having the greatest amount of power of dictating how society develops. You can't blame them for that. You can't blame them that they sabotage us the way that they do. I would as well if I was able to see the potential of black people the way that they view the potential of black people. They got to be 24/7. They have to feel.
So they feel. In other words, they feel. So they know something about our past. They
look. They was able to see. Okay, you ever seen a child?
This is for another conversation. Kev just mentioned that he's only got 5 minutes left, and
Kev, I'm sorry.
Y'all about to get into something else.
He's leaving, so
no, it's all good. It's all good. It's like let it. We'll let y'all get it out, then I'll cut the broadcast.
All right, you got the last word. Go, man. Go. You got it.
No. Go ahead, get out. What are y'all talking about? The chemtrails. That kind of stuff.
Right. So in the aspect of, we've all seen children who are good at something that they weren't taught, and you can see them doing similar things, the same things, and notice that there's a couple of 2 or 3 kids in there who's a little bit better than the rest, 9, 7, 10, or whatever. They were able to view that within us for like 200 years when we didn't know our name. We didn't know who we were. We didn't know each other. We didn't know their language. We didn't know nothing about their society. They was able to watch that within us for 200 years and see that resilience of ease of creativity that we have. And you see what we do to music, you see what we do to sports. That dominating factor is not just in entertainment, that is in our culture. Culturally, we are a dominant people. We have a natural
I
dominant.
agree.
So if you put us in science, if you put us in engineering, if you put us in anything, we are going to elevate to the top easily. This is why they have to do what they do in order to sabotage and also, of their origin. Remember, they're of their origin of lack. The whole aspect of this being, what's the root of all evil? Well, I've always thought within the world, this world, the root of all evil has to be greed, because this world gives you everything you need and it renews itself year after year after year, almost on some everlasting shit, if you can respect it and work with it. But they don't do that. They have to control, they have to contain, and they have to consume. So greed is ultimately the issue, or should I say appetite. Appetite is ultimately the issue, and having a large appetite ain't the problem. It's having a large appetite to where you will overrun the harmony and the peace and the balance of others. That's when it turns to greed.
Evil. That goes back to evil. Wow. That
They
hey
can't help
man,
that.
that's sweet, bro.
They can't help that. They can't help. They're not evil. They can't help that. These motherfuckers are just stoned with it.
Yeah.
Is the soil of evil fear? Like, is that what's in the soil of their being? Their being, who they are.
Fear,
is it fear?
Fear, yes. Evil, no. Because all that shit that we think is evil, to them, if you were to look into past European society before they got over here to the United States, it would be regular.
Man,
they're not being evil. They're being evil by our standards, but by their standards, they're just some regular people. That's why you'll see them, this person, saying raped 12 children, and he only get 3 years.
Yeah. But let me go
reading about the Nordic culture, and I was like, damn, them people were barbaric as hell.
Yo, they thought with it. Naturally.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave
down with being evil.
Yeah, what you gonna say?
I'm gonna close. I'm gonna close with this question right here.
Okay.
What's the worst kind of evil person? A person who enjoys being evil, or a person who is evil that thinks that they're good?
I don't know. I guess. Good question.
The person who enjoys it. No. My bad.
That
the other one. Because the person who enjoys it.
The person who's evil but thinks they're actually good.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Because
that person,
yeah, evil.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
The person that knows they're evil is the most dangerous person.
That is a very good question. I think on that one. That's a good one, man. That's a good one, bro.
It's the person who enjoys evil. They're not the bad one because they're honest and they're being 100% who they are. Even though it's evil, it's not an aspect to where you should want them to change. You should put yourself in a position to where their influence have no influence over your life. This is where we got it wrong in the aspect of interacting with white people, of the marching and the begging and the praying and all this, the certain aspects of the politics. They're not going to change because there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with us and people to change something that they've been for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
But that's manipulation of, that's exploiting those who are easily manipulated, and that's what some people do anyway. I'm talking about a person that knows in their core that they're evil. And they choose to do what they want to do with it. That's an individual that knows what they want to do with the confession in the constitution of their being that they are in fact evil.
Have you ever spoken?
And they're gonna wield that sword any way they deem fit. That's a dangerous individual.
Have you ever spoken to a Luciferian? Had a conversation with one of them?
Never.
Okay, now the whole aspect.
No, I have not.
Right. Most black people ain't, because they on some super over Christian shit. Real talk.
Oh
So,
damn, slick this. Why don't you?
no, it's not a diss. It's not a diss, because they're more worshipers as opposed to being rooted in the discipline of their teacher.
But
which
you
is
not
the
beyond
disciple.
slick dissing though. That disappoints me.
Let us think of
No,
Luciferian. I want to hear
so
this.
my point is, when you speak to a Luciferian and you ask them what do they call their spiritual leader, you know what they call him?
What, Lucifer?
Lucifer. Okay, what do you think, Mella?
I'm waiting on you, brother.
No,
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what they call him. They
What?
call him God.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They don't say Lucifer.
Dude.
They don't say Satan. They don't say none of that shit.
They say God.
They say motherfucking God.
Sure do.
So then you have to ask yourself, in an aspect of someone knowing that they're evil or whatever, what if to them they're not doing evil? To them, they're just operating however they
I'm
are.
not talking about that. I'm talking about a self-actualized individual that is overstanding the concept of their evilness. That's what I'm discussing.
How many people are going to acknowledge that they're evil, though? I mean, how likely is that?
Well, they might not say it out loud, but they're lying to themselves.
Do you think that Hillary Clinton would actually say that she's evil when she got a body count more than Al Capone? Come on, man. That's a hell of a question, Kevin.
That would be an interesting dinner party, now, wouldn't it? That would be an interesting dinner party for sure.
You know what I'm
saying? Hillary,
I say all that.
Why don't you tell our guests that you're evil?
It's
relative. That would be interesting.
Is relative based on your social position, and is relative based on your culture. Because the whole aspect of, when I would start talking to these cats and they would say God, I'm thinking they're talking about my God. I'm thinking they're talking about my Christian God who loves me, loves the world, yada yada yada. Right?
Yes.
They're not talking about that one.
No, but that's the thing. If you're dealing with a people who say that they worship God, and most of the things that they do is evil, what makes you think that they're worshiping your God?
Ooh.
Unless your God is evil.
Wow.
They rely on that. That's the spooky part of it. They rely on that concept. They rely on it.
That's an assumption that we give. We assume that everybody say, "I worship God." Everybody worships the same fucking God. Oh, I just worship the same God in the way that I want to. Wait a minute, nah. This motherfucking God might be your devil.
That's true. And it's funny that
there's an organ encapsulated in our skull called the brain, and I suggest people
pineal gland,
use it.
Let me ask y'all this.
Use your brain.
Let me ask y'all this. You ever heard that Satan was the God of the Old Testament? You ever heard that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, and then when you really think about it, it was like, and you really think about it, that God in the Old Testament was more about destruction and killing than anything.
He was on it. And look, he was
that
called
God was kicking ass.
He was called the light bearer, and or the morning star. And as a child, I went to a church called Morning Star Baptist Church in Pasadena, California. And I used to read within the book, ahead the preacher and shit. And Morning Star, I'm like, Morning Star. And then it just clicked to me as a kid. Well, morning is a perspective, but it's a perspective from what? It's from being here on earth. So in the aspect of morning, what qualifies as being the elements that create the situation for the morning? You got earth, the perception of what sun? That sun.
Hold on. Uh-oh. We also have to take into account the English language that has developed over generations, because the way morning is spelled, the root word is to mourn, right?
Oh, there you go.
So
right there.
That's why I'm serious. There are many people that are not interested in using the phrase good morning, because what is good about mourning something? You understand what I'm saying?
That's a specific sector. We're talking about what the masses will tap into, and the masses are going to tap into that.
No problem, brother. No problem.
Yeah.
You got a point. You got a point too. I guess, Kev, the next show, I guess somebody should bring a Black Law Dictionary. Maybe, because she's right on the point that The English language is the bastardized language.
What the Black's Law Dictionary going to
Exactly. Unless when you know that language, you'll be able to gain insight that can be kind of spooky. Yeah, it becomes a evolving. It's almost like it's a living thing. Well, not a living thing. How can I put this? It penetrates your when you become self-actualized, it penetrates your imagination to the point where you're devastated that you realize that the English language is designed as opposed to it's designed. Yeah, it's designed to oppress. That's what the English language is.
It's a language of deception. That's the whole thing.
Yes, that's my point. Yes,
that's why you have so many words that sound the same, spelled differently, having all these different meanings. It's because it's purposefully developed to
the English language is a rabbit hole for real.
Well, see, that's why I said the Black Law Dictionary, because it sort of gives you the definition. That's why I used to, when I was in the States, living in Plantation, Georgia, all the religious knuckleheads, I love beating them up though. I love it. Like they would talk about, well, you trying not to go to heaven. You mean the way things are supposed to be. It used to be fun. And they used to say, well, what do you mean? So I pull it out. I say, read it for yourself. That means the way things are supposed to be, which means two men ain't supposed to be sleeping with each other.
And I only caught glimpses of that dictionary.
You went there in Georgia. You went there in Georgia. Come on, man. You ain't gonna get nowhere there.
I caught glimpses.
Wait, but I'm telling you, I had so much fun beating them up. It was like, oh man, it was fun because they're like a deer in headlights. They were deer in headlights. But I'm not gonna stop what they do. I'm just glad I got the hell out of the Black San Francisco, because even Frisco ain't that bad. Frisco's not that bad. What you gonna say? Frisco, San Francisco is not that bad compared to Georgia. Georgia is the Black San Francisco because it's all in your face.
You're Borgin, because it wasn't meant for the audience to hear that.
Well, no, it wasn't. He's not Borgin. I heard every word.
I'm sorry.
Hey, but listen up, y'all.
I'm gonna give you a story, because you gotta go.
I remember.
Kale gotta go. He gotta go.
Maybe that was me, Borgin. That was me, Borgin. I remember when I was praised for being aware of the King's English, and I didn't know what that interviewer meant by that. That was before I was so-called self-actualized. Okay. They offered me a position that I didn't qualify for, and I thought it was because of my veterans benefits, and I was told it's because the King's English. I didn't know what that meant for so many years. It took me years to figure out what they meant about it. And they were insulting
you, really.
that was really true. But they gave me they placed me in a position.
Well, I like the fact that they're not like those other Negroes that come in.
I was actually interviewed by a Black man, and I guess he had a protocol in which to select candidates.
Affirmative action.
No, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
No, he was trying to get another Negro up in there. That's all that was.
Okay, y'all want to make fun. Okay, you all want to dismiss. Okay, I get what you're doing. No problem. I've been through it.
We're making you laugh. We're making you laugh about it now.
How is that making me laugh?
Because you made it through there.
Hey, sister. One thing about men, we're serious about silly shit. You know what I'm saying?
Long live the habitual line stepper.
For sure.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
For shizzle. Thanks for stating that brilliant fact. And with that being said, this broadcast is over. Another great conversation. Hopefully people tune in for the on demand. Click on the thumbnail. Sir Smoke a Lot asking God for help, basically.
I'm about to smoke one. You right. I'm about to smoke.
For sure. All right, Yeah, that's it, everyone. Thanks for all the panelists that came by, including, myself on behalf of Donnie and Kev. We trust. Goodbye.
All right.
Peace.
Peace
I'm
out,
living that
y'all.
virtual life.
Shout out, Donnie.